Before I start the video, I would like to give a massive shout out to my Patreons who have been supporting my channel. If you would like to check out my Patreon and receive early access to some very exciting videos coming soon, then please click the link in the description below.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nerd Den here once again, and in today's second video we are going to be talking about a very exciting interview which Chris Chibnall did with Radio Scaro whilst he was at the Gallifrey 1 Doctor Who exhibition in Los Angeles, which was, very exciting that he went to his first convention. I didn't expect him to, do any of them, especially so soon after doing Doctor Who, but he did, and apparently he was really lovely with fans. I would love to meet him one day, but obviously now his era on the show is done, so he's allowed to talk about it a lot more, and talk about all of the behind the scenes stuff, all the, ideas that unfortunately didn't make it on screen, etc. And there's some very interesting things he said during the interview, and I will be reading off William Who's Twitter, who has highlighted some stuff, and there's some other stuff that's been highlighted as well elsewhere, which I'll go over at the end. But there's some very good stuff that has been said from Chibnall, which kind of changes my perspective on certain things. Not to do with the episodes themselves, but the whole marketing and stuff. And it does really change my views on certain things as well. So, with that being said, let's have a look at what Chris Chibnall is saying about Doctor Who. Okay, so the first one is that Chris Chibnall has confirmed it was the BBC's idea to move away from Doctor Who Christmas specials. Chris said it wasn't personal as he loves Christmas. Spyfall was also originally intended for Christmas Day, but the BBC said it was too scary for Christmas, therefore it got moved. Now, obviously Spyfall isn't really a Christmas episode, and I wouldn't really say it's a scary one either, so I don't know why the BBC didn't put it on Christmas Day, if I'm being completely honest. And in recent years, including the year this aired, the whole Christmas festive schedule in terms of television, especially with the BBC, it's been poor. It has been poor. And having Doctor Who on there, yeah, it would be an experience. However, Spyfall wouldn't really be a Christmas special in that sense. It didn't really have any Christmas themes. It would be obviously a series opener, and I imagine what would have happened, and I think it was also hinted that this would have been the case, is that Spyfall Part 1 would have been on Christmas Day, and then Part 2 on Boxing Day. So there would have been on 2 consecutive nights as like a massive opener for Series 12, which I think would have worked quite well. And then for the following week, or weekend, you would have had Episode 3, Orphan 55, which, yeah, was a little bit of a lackluster episode, but still, that would have changed the way the series started and all that, and it would have probably got more people watching Series 12 if it aired at Christmas. But it is unfortunate that the BBC moved away from Christmas specials, because it would have been good for Spyfall to air on Christmas Day, in my opinion. And then this one gets interesting, because Chris Chibnall has said during this interview that marketing on the Doctor Who for Series 12 and Flux was a lot more difficult due to budget constraints from the BBC. He said that the new Disney Plus deal will hopefully iron out this issue moving forward, so more money can be spent on marketing each series equally. And I believe he said something in the interview that obviously, yeah, for the first series, like Series 11, there was a bigger budget for the debut series, because, yeah, we saw trailers in advance at San Diego Comic-Con, and, yeah, people were talking about it. However, when it came to Series 12 and 13, we didn't really get a lot, and that was really, really bad. And that's the way the BBC market their shows now anyway, which is a shame, because in terms of their competition, you got Disney and Netflix putting trailers out months in advance to get people talking about their shows. And not even just trailers, but just, little updates, casting information. And so far, I do think that the Disney Plus deal has worked, because we've got the 60th anniversary trailer that dropped over a year in advance. We've had casting information and production updates. I do feel like the show is heading towards better days. Let's just say that. Chris Chibnall has also said his favourite Doctor Who rumour was the companion cat that was rumoured for Doctor Who Series 11. That was originally posted by Ace Creeper, who isn't a Doctor Who YouTuber anymore. But yeah, George, honestly, man, that was a legendary video, so shout out for that one, mate. Also, Chris Chibnall said that there were some production issue narratives shared online that were obviously not true. There was obviously chaos in Cardiff, which was made up to say that him and Jodie had walked off set and had quit during the production of Series 12. But there was this one as well, where Series 11 was filming. A journalist phoned them claiming that staff were refusing to work as Jodie was forcing them to work until 2 a.m, which is very bizarre and a very strange rumour, but I don't know why that one was even made, but the fact that journalists were saying that as well, I think it's just anything for a story. And then there's one more, if we have a look here, and this is to do with the brand itself. There was a brand president that was lined up for the era, but it was sadly, it never worked out. That was something out of his control, but he said it would have been fantastic for the show and would have led to a very different approach. So for context, Edward Russell was the show's brand manager from 2007 until 2017, and James Page is the brand manager under the new era of Russell T Davies. So there wasn't one for Chris Chibnall. There were similar roles, but nothing to the same degree. So yeah, there's a lot of things to unpack here, and then there's a few other minor things I want to point out as well from that interview. So it is very clear that the BBC didn't want to market Doctor Who the way they used to, which kind of shows how they viewed the show up until recently, because after the Capaldi era, there was rumours of a budget increase. However, Chris Chibnall confirmed in the interview that it pretty much stayed the same, and that is why there was a lowered amount of episodes from 12 to 10, just to allow more budget to film abroad, etc., and give obviously more budget to existing episodes. And then as well, there were talks of spin-offs. Chris Chibnall actually wanted to do spin-offs. He didn't say spin-offs for what. I mean, I could imagine that there would have been some spin-offs, maybe for Graham and Ryan. We could have even seen Torchwood have come back. But whatever the spin-offs were, unfortunately, they weren't able to come into existence because of the budget constraints at the BBC, and they weren't willing to put more money into the show, which is bizarre. Which it really, truly is bizarre. And then one final thing as well was that Chris didn't really want to do the 60th anniversary. He made a pact with Jodie, which he has already said anyway. This is kind of just reiterating it, that he wanted to do the 3 seasons and then that's it. And he did that. He did it really well. Overall, him and Jodie, they made the pact and they left because he saw that the show needs to regenerate itself as well, not just the lead actor. Everything has to change to always have a new perspective, which is something that the show does need, because the show has survived for a lot of years, and that's because there's always new perspectives, there's always new faces, and it always stays the same because the show, well, that's how the show exists and has existed for 60 years. So honestly, it has changed my perspective on my criticism when the era was the current era, where I was like, okay, the marketing is terrible, Chris Chibnall is very secretive, and I still believe that exists to some degree. I do believe it was said anyway that Chris Chibnall didn't want to go too overboard when it came to revealing casting information. However, obviously, there was some stuff with the BBC, the budget, etc., and that really has showed us that, the BBC didn't have a lot of faith in the show, which is very unfortunate. I don't think that's just strictly down to the Chris Chibnall era. The fact that the budget didn't increase or anything after the Stephen Moffat and Capaldi era ended, I guess shows that Doctor Who wasn't a priority for the BBC, which is a shame. But it looks like things have turned around now, and hopefully continues to improve, and Doctor Who ends up being the the big success which it should be. So yeah, with that being said though, thank you very much for tuning into today's video. If you are new around here, be sure to subscribe for more nerdy content, and as well, let me know in the comment section what do you think of this interview, because honestly, I've got a lot of respect for Chris Chibnall. I really have, and whilst yeah, I have been critical about this era, I still have overall enjoyed it, and yeah, I can't wait to see what him, Jodie, and the rest of the cast and crew do next. But yeah, I'll see you all next time. Thank you very much for all the support, and goodbye for now.